The biggest threat to a United States of America rests at the feet of left-wing extremists. We lose and they win when America is divided. And where do Democrats have the greatest success in dividing America? Well, that's easy. In the arena of race. Americans overwhelmingly reject Biden's racism. We destroy one of the biggest myths about the left in tonight's preamble. History shows the Democrat Party's love affair with racism. Bull Connor, George Wallace, Lester Maddox, Orville Faubus, Lyndon Johnson, Robert Byrd, all racists, all white, all Democrats, all have stained America's history. But racism isn't just in Democrats' past. It's in their present, too. Joe Biden infamously made this unsubstantiated claim about President Trump.
No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We have racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has.
But President Trump has a history of being honored by blacks for serving the black community. The alleged Reverend Jesse Jackson in both 1998 and 1999 honored Trump's service in the black community. Jackson said, in part, that Trump excelled at, quote, reaching out and being inclusive. He has this sense of the curious and a will to make things better. Aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who is an effective builder of people, end quote. Even though Trump's views on race didn't change when he became a Republican, that didn't stop left-wing hacks from trying to perpetuate a false narrative that the GOP, and by extension, Trump, is racist.
Also talked about your position on race and the controversy over your failure to denounce David Duke on Sunday. You have repeatedly disavowed him since then, but I'd like to go deeper than that. What are your views on the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists?
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question.
And for the next 4 years after that question, President Trump repeated his condemnation of white supremacy and racism. But some left-wing hacks were so devoid of intelligence and integrity, they still didn't get it and still asked questions they already knew the answer to in an effort to create a narrative rather than report the truth.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing
to
do
specifically
that,
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing.
But Chris Wallace, then of Fox News, never once asked Joe Biden about his myriad racist comments. We found quite a few.
I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Even call centers, was rushed overseas in the hundreds of thousands. How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your credit card.
Oh, no. There were more racist comments from Joe Biden for Chris Wallace and other left-wing fake journalists to choose from.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Come on, man. There can't be more examples of Joe Biden's racism out there. Can there be?
Have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say?
What you all know, but most people don't know, Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
So why would Chris Wallace and his dedicated Democrats in the press ignore all of Biden's racism to invent racism against Trump? I'll let you decide that. But I think despite the efforts of the liars in the press, the American people are getting the message about who the real dividers and racists are in this society. After Joe Biden, with the full support of his Democrats who support socialist policies, announced the criteria for the next Supreme Court justice, Americans were horrified. Here's one black woman's response from the Trump rally in Conroe, Texas this weekend.
All of that, and then I'm going to appoint a SCOTUS pick based on her skin color and her gender. Hey, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts on that. I qualify. Huh? I'm a woman. I'm black. If that's the criteria, am I right? Huh? I qualify. See, it don't make no difference, the SCOTUS, when they went to school and what they learned, you know what I'm saying, and how intelligent they are, or any of that. That ain't got nothing to do with it as far as Biden is concerned, okay? That ain't got nothing to do with it, all right? All you got to do is be black and a woman. And that fool's gonna put you up in there.
Well, there are two black Americans who reject Joe Biden's racist criteria for picking the next Supreme Court justice. But it turns out that an overwhelming number of Americans reject Joe Biden's racist criteria as well. Americans say that it's wrong, that the only universe of people Joe Biden will look at to fill this vacancy will alienate over 90% of the American electorate. Just 23% of respondents in an ABC News Ipsos poll want Biden to keep his vow to pick only a black woman for the high court. A whopping 76%, over 3/4 of the American people, want, quote, all possible nominees, end quote, to be considered for such an important job. The overwhelming majority of America is not racist, despite the Democrats who support socialist policies, despite their best efforts. Joe Biden will show the same judgment in picking a SCOTUS nominee that he showed in getting out of Afghanistan, that he's showing at the U.S.-Mexico border, or that he's showing in your prices at the gas pump and empty store shelves all around America. What you have to recognize is that the real racists are Democrats. The real dividers are Democrats. And the real source of misery in the United States, Democrats. I, as your liberty-loving Latino, reject Joe Biden's racism and the unfair racism of his left-wing ideology and party. And I think you ought to as well.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest-growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.